Joe, are you surprised at this point that, given how long it's been since you were in Baltimore, that this is the first time going back and playing a game there? And I guess, like, what emotions come with that for you?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I got to play him a couple years ago, but going back to Baltimore is definitely a little bit different story. It is somewhat surprising, honestly, that because I've been gone for a decent amount of time now. So, the fact that I haven't had a chance to go back is a little surprising.
We just got invited, sorry.
Take your time. It's okay.
Joe, how do you feel about the Ravens celebrating their 30th anniversary with the Browns in town? You know the history of this franchise.
Yeah, it's funny because that isn't the first thing that I think about, not being from here, but I can understand how that looks. Listen, they do these things, and I think you can take it however you want. If you're from Cleveland, you can take it one way, and if you're from Baltimore, you can, say it's not a big deal. It's just one of those things. Honestly, for me, it kind of makes it more exciting. We get to go in there when they're throwing, when they're having some people back, and just more ex-players, more eyes on you. It'll make it more interesting.
Joe, you ever gone against a defensive coordinator who's your former teammate?
I'm assuming this is the first time. I don't know if I'll ever get another opportunity. Zach, man, just super, well-liked player, awesome player. Unfortunate, that he wasn't able to have a longer career. But obviously, he's right where he wants to be, so it's pretty cool.
Just for the record, did you leave the Ravens on good terms?
I think so. We all know kind of the story there. And yeah, like, I have nothing but love for the people in that facility and the people in that city. I mean, for sure. It's one of those things, like, in the NFL, there's a business side of it, and, things happen. I'm fortunate to be where I am today and be in this position, but I have nothing for love for that city and for that organization. I mean, I was a small school guy that they took a little bit of a chance on early on in the draft, and I have so many good memories with those people and that city and that stadium. So a very special place.
Is it special for you to go back there and get to Baltimore?
Listen, it's been a while now, so you kind of just. I think I'm very capable of just seeing it as another division game. But it will be cool to go back in that stadium. I haven't had a chance to do it since I've played there. I really love playing there. It's an awesome place to play. It's an awesome venue. It's an awesome atmosphere. They do a great job. So I love playing there. So I think in that respect, it will be pretty cool to go back for sure.
Joe, is it kind of weird that you haven't been back there? Like, the schedule hasn't worked out?
Yeah.
You've been there. And what do you think the fans, how do you think they're going to react to you?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, listen, I love the fans there, and I think, I think they have, good memories of me playing football there. So, I don't think anybody's going to be crazy bad, but at the same time, they're rooting for their Ravens. So that's what you can expect.
How weird is it going to be those, you're the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, and they're going to be celebrating you in some respects because you brought them a Super Bowl?
I guess it's kind of, maybe strange from the outside in, but like I said, it's probably just not too often that you get these opportunities and there's a guy that's still playing, because usually they take a little time in between things, and it's crazy that they've been around. The Baltimore Ravens have been around for 30 years now. It's actually kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, I think, like I said earlier, that'll kind of make it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more fun. There'll be ex-players there with some eyes on the game, and it should make it fun.
Joe, you talk about that with all the ex-players being there and the big celebration, all the hoopla that's going to be going on. Did you need any more excitement? Is it just going back there? Don't you think that it's going to be so crazy?
No, you don't need any more excitement. And I honestly don't think that you're, like, as players, and, like, if you're watching the game on TV, I don't really think you're going to feel that side of it. That's just something that's going to be there for the people that are in attendance, and at halftime. I mean, and I'll probably head out 10 minutes earlier to say hello to a couple guys. Got a lot of people coming to the game because it's an easy little drive down from Jersey. and a lot of people that have a lot of memories watching me play in that stadium. So I think it's kind of cool for them. For me, it is. It's another game. I got to prepare to play another football game. But I think when you look at like the outside of it, there's going to be some people that kind of get to have some fun with this.
Hey,
Will
Joe,
you be able to keep your emotions in
Yeah,
check?
yeah,
I mean,
no,
you
for
think
sure.
a lot, but-
Yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, even if I'm not, you're not going to know. So, I've been criticized my whole career for not being able to show any emotion. So, I think that's the last thing you have to worry about with me. So,
hey, Joe, what can the offense do to build on what you guys did last week?
we just got to play a little bit cleaner. I think we have a lot of ability to do some really good things this year. We just got to make sure that we clean up some things and don't get in our own way.
From being with him, did you ever expect Lamar Jackson's star to rise like it has at this point?
Well, I mean, it's such a tough question to answer about anybody. But I think he was able to show pretty early on what he was capable of. I mean, he came in the year I was there and won football games, and then right away the next year got off to an awesome start. So I think he very quickly was able to show who he is, and that's a testament to the work he's put in and just the type of athlete he is.
People talk a lot about his, you mentioned the athleticism, and that's the stuff that people notice because it's the standout skill. But how much has he grown as a passer and a processor of defense?
Well, I think he's a good football player. So he sees the field in a certain way. And I think when you're able to do that, then you're able to get better at things and become who you want to be in all facets of the game. I think that's the important thing. He's out there playing football, and the way he sees the field is probably unique to himself, and that's why he's able to do all those things.
How much of a relationship do you still have with Lamar? Like, do you guys stay in touch at all? Or?
We don't stay in touch, but I mean, we saw each other a couple years ago. I mean, we were very, I think we put a smile on each other's faces, and I enjoyed being with him, and I'm kind of like that with pretty much everybody I've played with. It's not like that I keep directly in touch with them, but when we see each other, it'll be like right back to 2018. So.
Joe, it didn't feel like there were a whole lot of downfield shots against the Bengals. Was that game plan or just what Cincinnati was doing defensively?
Probably, a little bit of both, but I think just what we were doing, we had success with. I think we were able to hit some checkdowns that kind of acted as part of the run game, and we were able to get some chunks, but just kind of in the intermediate area and not have to throw the ball down the field that much. Sometimes when you want to throw the ball down the field, you call plays to do it, and it doesn't end up happening, and it's week to week. So in that respect, it's probably just more based on, the coverages that they played, when we called certain plays.
Just similar to the Lamar question I asked you, when you were coming out, I think a lot of the excitement about you as a young player was the size, the arm strength. How important was it for you to be able to develop the mental process and developing how to read defense?
Well, listen, I think processing and, being able to just see the field and make quick decisions, I think that's always important. Because at the end of the day, when you're playing against good defenses, they're going to force you to do that at some point, and you have to be able to stand in there and make that happen. So it was a very important thing for me to develop.
It looks like Quinshawn will be back with you guys on the field at least tomorrow.
Yeah.
And maybe play on Sunday. How great would it be for you to have him back on the playing field on Sunday?
Yeah, listen, I think anytime we get to have our full 53 and the guys that are, the guys that are going to make an impact for us here with us, it's exciting. Listen, obviously he hasn't gotten the reps and been at it, for all a training camp and things like that, but I'm sure we're going to, try to get his legs in there and get him some reps as quickly as we can to kind of bring him up to speed. So, like I said, anytime you get one of your guys back that you feel like can make an impact, it's an exciting thing.
Joe, what is it about the Ravens' culture defensively? It doesn't matter personnel on the field, doesn't seem to matter coordinator or scheme. They just always seem to play a very hard, tough, physical brand of defensive football.
Listen, I think when you make things important and when you truly, you don't just put them on the board, you truly make it an important part of who you are as a football team, then you tend to kind of go in that direction. And I think, ever since kind of Ray was drafted, and then Ed and Suggs and Elodie and all these guys, but I think it probably started with Ray. that became the culture, and it became. I think they were able to win with that pretty quickly, and I think they saw as an organization the importance of what that type of style of play can do for you, and they made a point to make it part of their identity, and I think the people that they have in that building have carried that through for the last 30 years, and that's why it happens. They definitely emphasize it, and therefore it actually comes to fruition on Sundays.
Did you have that conversation with Andre over darts? And are you glad that he's getting another chance?
Of course. No, I did not have the conversation yet over darts. We haven't played yet this week, but of course I'm glad. Listen, that's what this league's about. It's what's next game up, next play up. All that really matters is what you do going forward. So I'm excited for him, and I'm excited for our team, always to get that next opportunity.
Is this right up there just in terms of magnitude and emotion for games that you've played in your career? I mean, I know it's not a playoff game or
Yeah.
anything like that, but I mean, just going back there for the first time?
I mean, listen, I'd probably say no, because there has been so many important games that I've played in my career, but I don't think you can answer that until you go there and you kind of feel what it is. Like I said, I think it has been a decent amount of time. So just in terms of like the team versus the team, like there's very few guys that I recognize, on that team anymore. I mean, Marlon was there, and Lamar was there, and Mark Andrews was there, but it's a different football team. And the coaching staff, the people in the building. I think it's cool to go back and play there for that reason, for some of those people. It's going to be cool to go back and just play there because they got unbelievable fans that bring a lot of energy to that stadium. I think those are just, I don't know if it's like a special thing in my mind, or I'm just excited to play in a cool atmosphere. Anytime I love playing in stadiums that, have fans that are into the game and make it feel that much more interesting. This is one of those places. It always has been one of those places. That is also one of those places. It's an awesome place to play just because of the energy that fan base brings into that stadium every Sunday. So I'm just excited to kind of play in that atmosphere, just as you would be as a young kid. If somebody told you you're going to play in front of 100,000 at Notre Dame or Penn State or something like that, I think that's the cool part of it for me. And obviously I've never done it as an away player, but I can remember being in that stadium and they get loud. And I've seen some things. So it's going to be a lot of fun and definitely a challenge.
Hey, Joe,
Just a couple more.
We know Ozzie Newsome from here for all those years. What was he like from a player's perspective to have in that organization?
I think you just looked at Ozzie and you're like, man, look at all he's done. He just had that way about him. And I think as players, you respected it so much just because he had done so much in his league as a player. And anytime you see that, it's hard not to just have the utmost respect for that person. And then obviously to go on and do what he's done after that, and kind of the role that he's played in that organization. And, if you talk about the defense they built and all those things, I think he's one of those guys that's right up there in terms of building that type of culture.
Would you say in terms of emotion then, that 2022 meeting against Baltimore,
Yeah.
when you were with the Jets, because you had more players that you knew on that team?
I definitely think playing them in the past and getting that little bit out of the way, I do think that was probably, even though it wasn't in Baltimore, just from playing the Baltimore Ravens, getting that out of the way already will make this a little bit easier. I know it's different, like I said, because we're going back to Baltimore, but just in terms of playing your old team and the emotions that come with that. Because listen, I mean, like I said, we were on good terms when I left, but at the same time, it's natural to feel a certain way when you're going against a team that you're not playing for anymore. I've been a part of other players that do that, and you kind of try to act normal, but it is a big deal. You do want to go beat them, and it's a little bit of a difference. So I think the fact that I've done that, been in that kind of environment before. This game will be a little bit, a little bit more normal because I've already done it.
Was that game one of your more frustrating losses then? Because you had a 300-yard game, but still.
Well, it was a 300-yard game, but I guarantee, no, they beat us up pretty good. I mean, we did. I feel like we had a chance, because we did hold them in check a little bit for a little bit of time. But I threw a touchdown late that didn't mean anything. It was a 300-yard game that wasn't I don't think it really meant much. It was disappointing to lose to them for sure, but not because I threw for 300 or anything like that.
But you
All right, last one.
You followed it up with a good game. That wasn't my question. That was the bonus.
You got it.
Have you had any back and forth with Coach Harbaugh at all?
I haven't. I mean, we have over the last year. I mean, for sure, but not this week. Man, it's crazy to think though. I mean, me and John came in together. I can picture myself up in his office my rookie year as we were getting ready to make a playoff run, just kind of looking at each other like, man, how cool is this? So it's also pretty cool that we're 18 years in and still doing this thing. So anytime you have that kind of anytime you've been through the kind of stuff that we've been through together, you have a pretty cool relationship. So.
Okay, on the road, division opponent, great team, division champs from last season. I have a ton of respect for Coach Harbaugh, this entire group. They present significant challenges with how they play offense, defense, and special teams. Really good group. Special teams is always top-notch, obviously, Coach Harbaugh's background, but they do a great job in their coverage phases and their return phases. Their defense, I think Coach Orr does an outstanding job, really play a really tough, physical brand of football with really good players at all three levels. Offensively, great challenges, obviously, with Lamar, Derrick Henry, fast receivers, big up front. So huge challenge for our football team. Have to have a great week of practice and then have to go on the road and handle a road environment. But with that, I'll take any questions.
Quinshon kind of rejoining the team this week. What do you need to see from him in practice to feel comfortable putting him out there on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm going to take it day by day. Daniel, he's not here today, not practicing today, so I'll really take that day by day.
Why is he not practicing today?
He's not here today.
How do you balance when he gets Kevin getting him up to speed with not putting too much on his plate physically, given he hasn't practiced with you guys since June?
I think with any player, Scott, you want to be very smart about where they are because it's all different. It could be guys coming off an injury, a guy that you sign late during the year. You just have to be smart about where they are, and that's where this week we'll take it day by day and see where he is before we make that determination.
Is absence today related to discipline or is it personal?
He's not here today. Not going to get into specifics, but expect him here tomorrow.
New York meeting with the commissioner.
Not going to get into specifics, but I expect him back tomorrow.
Go ahead, Tom.
I was going to change the subject, so if you want to follow.
Yeah, I wanted to ask that real quick. Since you say he's going to be here tomorrow, I know you're taking it day by day, but can he play Sunday with 2 days of practice?
Yeah, it's really hard to say, Mary Kate. Need to see him tomorrow and the next day and see where it is. So I have, as coaches, we are just going to take it day by day.
Sense where he's been at conditioning-wise, whether he's worked out and everything?
Obviously, we've been able to work with him physically over the last few days. He looks good.
Everyone talks about the mobility and the scrambling ability. But since he's come in the league, how have you seen him grow as a passer and a processor?
I mean, he's a great passer. There's nothing he does everything well. Throws it well, can make plays on design runs, can make plays off schedule. So there's no weaknesses in his game, and that's obvious. I mean, he's an MVP player. So
it's like with guys like him, Josh, Mahomes, that's kind of been in vogue to look at those kind of traits and say, well, this is what you need in a quarterback now. But how important is the baseline set of reading defenses and playing from the pocket, all that stuff still?
Yeah. There's a bunch of different ways to play the position. There's a bunch of different ways to win a game. He's capable of doing all of it. Like you mentioned, I mean, staying in the pocket, going through your reads, totally capable, and has done that.
In 5 previous years, we lost the first game 3 times, but won the second each time. So what's your secret, or what's your mindset in avoiding 0-2?
Yeah, not really our main focus is what we need to do in this game, Tony. I don't think any team is served well thinking about your week one result, win, lose, or draw. We're really focused just on this game.
Have you and Bubba talked to Andre or whatever, or figured out what might have gone wrong Sunday, and that will he be kicking for you Sunday?
He will. Yeah, young player will only get better. Obviously, he wants to come through in those moments. We expect him to come through in those moments, but just like any player on our roster, we'll continue to get better.
History doesn't really factor in what's going to take place on Sunday. But the fact that the Ravens are using this against Cleveland as their 30th anniversary celebration and taking the team out of Cleveland and the success that they've had since then. Do you plan on doing anything, though, this week just to maybe remind players or teach players the history of these two franchises and what happened to the original?
Yeah, our players know the history of our franchise. Our focus really is on this week, on this opponent.
Joe, Kevin, I know we talk all the time about a guy playing his former team, but it feels a little different. Joe was in Baltimore forever. Just how do you think he's going to deal with everything that goes into that return?
Yeah, like a professional. He's got a job to do.
I've got a question about the last play of the game. Was that supposed to be lateral to Jerome Ford?
Yeah, I don't want to get into specifics on certain plays.
Kevin, with Quinn, were you guys in contact with him during the process, or how was he kind of preparing to be able to make the?
Yeah, not in contact with him. Obviously, he was here in the spring, so has a baseline and understanding those type of things, and then we'll work hard and have been working hard since he's been back and getting him ready.
Was putting on pads or anything like that during his workout?
I don't know.
Obviously, you had your playbook, and I'm sure he was probably working hard on your offense.
He appears to be in very good shape, Mary Kay, but I think it's important that we take this day by day.
I know he's going to have new challenges every week, but Lamar and him being in the middle there, is Lamar kind of a guy that you need to be on the field with to just get a sense for everything he does, and will it take Carson maybe a little while to get used to that?
I think, as you can imagine, you can't replicate Lamar Jackson in practice. He's a great, great player. He's physically gifted. Like we talked about before, he can beat you with his arm, with his legs, and beat you from the pocket, outside the pocket. So we understand the challenge. Doesn't make it easy. You practice hard against, a look that you're trying to show what he can do, but it's impossible to replicate that. So we have a ton of respect for him, and we just have to make sure that we do all those things as a football team, as a defense, to play well.
Have likely again. Any chance you've borrowed from the way they use two tight ends at once through the offseason?
I don't know.
You looked on the film at your run game and your blocking schemes, which of course I know are new or back to the old or whatever. Did you see very correctable things, and how do you feel about the run game?
Yeah, I mean, for us to play well, we have to be able to run the ball better than we did in week one. We have to perform better as players. We have to give them a better plan as coaches. You need to strain a little bit more. You have to use technique a little bit more. It's all the little things that add up to being a big thing when you talk about having rushing success.
They're like Pittsburgh. They just seem to be every year extremely physical. Just what is it about Harbaugh's system down there and what he does? It seems like their defense every year has that same personality.
Yeah, I think, it's the AFC North. I would say every defense, it's a physical brand of football. That's kind of how we all play in this division, so that's what you expect. They do a nice job in their scheme. Their scheme's very different than our scheme in some ways, and in a lot of ways it's very similar. But we understand what it takes in a 60-minute ball game.
You guys have had success in defending Derrick Henry and what he's been able to do, whether it's with Baltimore or when he was with the Titans, but how much of a challenge does he add to that offense with what Lamar can do already? Great
player. I mean, everybody saw it the other night. He's a rare combination of size, speed, power, you name it. So, again, somebody that we have a tremendous amount of respect for.
Kevin, the team The defense has kind of been in a turnover drought in the last 18, 19 games. But you've also held very few offensive leads during that time. What do you think the correlation is there? Playing with a lead per making defensive takeaways.
Certainly you want to take the ball away on defense and special teams. That's a emphasis for us and all 32 teams. To your point, Tony, how teams play in a game is dependent on the score, and when you do have a lead, teams are typically throwing it more, and there's more opportunities for a strip sack or a tip ball or an interception, those type of things.
Through last week, and do you think he might be able to play Sunday?
Yeah, really, I'm going to keep it day by day, so I'm going to focus on today. He'll practice today, and he continues to do really well.
It's been a few days. You haven't brought in any competition at kicker. Is it safe to say that you won't bring any competition at kicker going into Sunday?
Yes, and I'll say it again. We expect Andre to do his job just like our team expects me to do my job, how I expect every player to do their job. We're not going to be perfect. We'll own that together, but we have a ton of confidence because of what we've seen from this young man.
Jack and his eye.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
There's little details and assignment issues that, I got to get correct. We looked over it, we got to correct it, and now we're moving past that.
Jeudy, on that last play, did you think about lateraling the ball to Jerome Ford? It looked like on film he was kind of like trailing you on that.
I was just trying to make a play. There was a lot of defenders around. I didn't know. I just try to make the catch first, then worry about everything after.
Jerry, Baltimore is a very explosive offense, and they had a ton of those explosive plays. Contrast to you guys last week, not a lot of them get 3 plays over 20 yards. So just offensively, what do you guys have to do to, I'm not trying to say keep up with Baltimore in that regard, but to increase the explosiveness for your offense?
Just be detailed and fundamental sound. Just make sure we're on our details, and just, that's it for real, play our game.
Jerry, we saw what you did when you went back to Denver last year. Joe's going back to Baltimore. He spent more than a decade there. What are you expecting from him?
You said what?
Joe going back to Baltimore for the first time. He spent like a decade there. This is the first time he's going to play in Baltimore. What do you expect out of him?
As a competitor, of course you want to be able to dominate your former team that you played for. Now that you're playing against it, you want to put your best performance in front of you, and just play his game. At the end of the day, that's all he could do.
With you and Joe, is there anything that you guys can do, or maybe that you will do this week or in the coming weeks, to get even more on the same page that you have been to this point, just in terms of watching film together, or putting your heads together, or taking notes together, or anything like that?
We just going to keep speaking on what we see on the field, keep talking about what we need to do better, and during practice, just continue getting more reps, and talk through them plays and just make sure we're on the same page.
Do you think that having to catch balls from, I think I know the answer to this, but do you think the 4-way quarterback competition in any way took away from that repping it over and over and over that you would normally get with one starting quarterback?
What you say? You think you know the answer? What's the answer?
You say you have to catch the ball from anybody and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you got that right.
Jerry, what do you think has helped Joe stick around more, the big right arm or the smart up top?
I think a little bit of both. He still got a lot left in the tank. And you see that on Sunday. He'll making completion, driving the ball down the field, giving his guys opportunities. And he'll making the right reads. And I feel like, he still got a lot left. So yeah.
When you have a game like that where you might not be super happy with a couple of things that you did on your own, do you come back even way more focused the next week and determined to kind of just put that one behind you and have a great game?
Yeah, of course. That's something that don't go our way during the week. That's gonna happen every week. It's part of the game. It's football. You can't really dwell too much on it. The only thing you could do is just work towards your goals and fix the mistakes that did happen during last game and just move on. You can't have that game back. The good thing is we got next game Sunday. And prepare for that.
Jerry, Baltimore secondary, a lot of notable names back there. Just what are the challenges that game presents to you guys as receiving?
No challenges.
How about the fact that you guys are 10.5-point underdogs for this game, and even though you guys really outplayed the Bengals except for that 1 point.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the fact that you're going into Baltimore as 10.5-point underdogs?
That's disrespectful. By the end of the day, they if they think Baltimore could beat us like that, we're gonna have to prove them another thing. We got to do our job and and do our best to win the game.
No, it doesn't really mean much to me. Just same goal every week to go in, focus on what we got to do to get the win, and that's the main focus.
So, Ben, did you hear about those kinds of things from your parents about what it was like when the Browns left town? I mean, and all of your family members probably here in Cleveland, do they have vivid memories of that, and might some of them still have, I don't know, emotions or feelings about that time?
Oh, yeah, I have to ask them. I'm not sure, so I'll have to ask family and see. But, yeah, my main focus is getting the win for the first win of the season. That's the goal.
Denzel, what about the fact that Joe's going back to Baltimore for the first time?
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity. That's his old team, and what better way to get the win going in there and beating those guys. So I think that's probably his focus too, and that's what we're gonna try to do for him.
I know you play these guys twice a year, but how different is it schematically, defensively, going from Cincinnati to Baltimore?
Yeah, I think it's a lot different. I think Burrow, he's kind of getting that ball out pretty quick, and Lamar, he has the ability to run around and kind of hold on to the ball, and the play might last a little longer than a regular play would last. So just being tight in coverage and not letting them get those just extra chances out there, really.
How much more challenging is that for you guys in the back end, knowing he can scramble, he can buy some time, and you guys got to cover even longer than probably usually?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. That's the thing, having to cover longer, and just a scramble drill. They just running around out there, and you just want to stay tight in there and not let them get no easy throws, and just want to make sure it's contested and get the ball out.
Denzel, you guys are 10.5-point dogs, I think, in this game. Really, I don't think anybody gives you guys much of a chance to go into Baltimore and win this game. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely disrespect, but we just got to go in there and take care of business. So regardless of what people may think and who they got winning or losing the game, we got to go in and try to beat the odds. They putting us against the odds. We got to go in there and try to beat it.
Denzel, Baltimore, there's a stat like they put together the most explosive plays in a game in years in that loss to Buffalo. What do you guys have to do though to contain those explosive plays, or at least try and limit the volume of them?
Yeah, I think really just doing our job. I mean, it sounds simple, but just that's where the work is going to come in, just doing our job out there, and that's going to help eliminate those big plays and take that away.
Denzel, do you have a preference on the type of wide receivers you do or don't like to match up with? Maybe have a little bit of versatility. It's kind of more of a speed guy, maybe a separator.
Yep.
You got DeAndre Hopkins. Is there a guy a type of receiver that you really like going up against?
I like going against all. If you're the number one guy, you're the best on your team. I like wherever that ball's at. That's what I like. If you get in the ball, I like to be on that guy. So whoever that guy is, put me there, and that's all I like. So it's not one specifically that I don't like going against, but I just like being around the ball.
How do you have to prepare differently?
Yeah, definitely. Just watching the tape. It's different types of receivers. They may release different, run their routes a little differently. So just watching the film and seeing what they like to do and where they could maybe be better at, and just attacking that.
Denzel, you guys have so many young guys on this defense this year. How important is it for them to just, when you're going up against Lamar, that, to keep playing? Even when you think a play is dead until the whistle's blown, it's not actually dead with them.
Yeah. Coach Schwartz, he's been doing a great job, and our coach is doing a great job of telling the guys that and telling us that we got to keep playing. This is a guy that's able to extend plays, and just got to keep rushing and keep playing, keep covering. And, till they blow that whistle, till the play is completely over. So definitely got to, like I said, stay tight in coverage and go from there.
You guys, as a team, really seem to love Joe Flacco so much. How much of a rallying cry do you think it will be for you guys in this locker room to try to go out there and make sure that he has a nice homecoming?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be good. Like I said, that's our main goal, get this win. And, it'd be great to get the win for Joe going back to his old team. And we could do that. It'd be a good day.
Hey, Denzel, I don't know if you had to personally tackle Derrick Henry, and what's that like, a beast like that?
Yeah, he's a great player. He's a great player, top running back in the league. And, you got to take your shots. You got to take your shots and do what you got to do to get him down and get to the next play.
Have you tackled him yet?
Possibly. I'm sure I probably tackled him before. I haven't, haven't really thought about like have I tackled Derrick Henry, but I'm sure I probably have though. I'm sure I probably have.
We've had a lot of talk over the last year about defensive takeaways. How much harder is it to have takeaways when you're behind?
Yeah, I think just in general, just getting takeaways is tough, but we got to find a way to take it away, though. As good as we play, it's still more things that we could get better at, and that's one of the areas in takeaways. So, we played well, played decent this past game, but we got to take that ball away. So we didn't play good enough, and yeah, so that's the main thing. Got to get that ball.
Denzel, you mentioned Lamar's athleticism and how the play's never dead, but since he's come to the league, how have you seen him improve at playing from the pocket?
Yeah, tremendously. I mean, I think he's gotten better each year. He could throw from the pocket, throw from outside of the pocket, make every throw on the field, run around. I mean, he could do it all for those guys, and like I say, he's a great player.
I know you guys always have high expectations defensively, but how much confidence did you gain from doing what you did against the Bengals?
Yeah, great confidence. I mean, we got to take it a game at a time. Like we said, we want to be the best defense in the league, and that was the first step. And helping our offense and special teams out as best way as we can. And, we got to do it again this week, and hopefully get some takeaways and get that ball.
All the rookies have come in and made a great impact, but what's it been like just seeing Schlesinger's development?
Oh, yeah, no, it's been good. He's been good since day one coming in here. I mean, he's calling the shots out there, getting us in the right calls, and playing hard out there, playing fast. So he's been good, and all those guys have been making plays for us.
What kind of challenge is it for Carson Lamar? Being in the middle of the field, maybe one-on-one with him out in some open space.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like receivers. You got to have a different challenge every week. And Lamar provides a different challenge than last week with Burrow. So I'm sure he's going to watch his film and do what he got to do to get the job done.
Denzel, do you feel like you guys serve notice as a defense against the Bengals that you guys are coming to play and people better kind of take you guys pretty seriously?
Yeah, I mean, I think they recognize that we're a tough team, but we just got to finish. I think the main goal is we got to finish. We go kind of play hard each game and attack, but yeah, we just got to finish though.
Denzel, obviously you played alongside Greg for years, but what about the Bengals game specifically? Did he showcase you about his ability to play outside and just like the way that he was able to limit Lamar?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I always knew that. I mean, Greg's a great player, #1 corner. And, I mean, he showed that. I don't even know if he gave up a catch, but just being able to stay tight in coverage and make plays. Greg, he's in a great position right now. He's going to make a lot of money coming here soon. But, man, he's a #1 corner, great player for us, and he's doing his thing out there.
As a cornerback, I've heard guys talk before about you don't try to force it when it comes to playing the ball or playing the receiver for interceptions. But do you guys have to maybe force the issue a little bit to try to come up with some?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna force the issue. So, however, I'm gonna be looking back for that ball whenever they throw it my way. And yeah, I'm trying to go for the ball. So that's my mindset. But yeah, that's the goal, is to get those takeaways, and we got to find a way to do that.